Lin suddenly found himself engulfed by a dark, crackling energy that pulsed through the air. The words, Hell Level Selection, echoed ominously in his mind. Yet he stood tall, exuding calm confidence despite the perilous situation. From a distance, two men watched him. One, a colonel, voiced his doubts about Lin's ability to tackle the challenge alone, even calling him Lin, the Divine General. But the Dean of Genesis Academy dismissed his concerns, praising Lin as the fastest and most capable among them all. As Lin stepped forward, a faint smirk played on his face. He found the idea of facing hell-level difficulty absolutely exhilarating. His mind flashed back to a memory of the enemy's sweeping spear skill, a precise and deadly move. From the shadows ahead, a mutated dragon tribe spearman emerged, standing tall at level 36. Its incredible power, speed, and endurance made it a truly formidable foe. The creature's long spear sweep was lethal, and its dragon energy reduced physical and elemental damage by 30%. Lin, however, didn't look impressed. With a casual demeanor, he remarked how the opponent was weaker than he'd anticipated. Moments later, Lin stood victorious amidst swirling green energy, holding a glowing power in his hand. Behind him lay the defeated spearman, its massive shadow cast over the ruined battlefield. Enemy soldiers had been cut down with brutal precision, their blood staining the ground. Dust settled over the devastation. As Lin turned and walked away, his back to the destruction, ahead, a quiet, eerie forest stretched out, leading to a towering fortress in the distance. The massive gates and walls of the fortress loomed under a hazy mix of purple and red skies. Suddenly, the stillness was shattered, as two monsters with glowing red eyes rushed toward Lin. Their voices practically dripped with fury. They accused him of outrageous arrogance, all for daring to enter the dungeon alone. Yet, completely unfazed by their ire, Lin coolly surveyed his surroundings. He swiftly realized that the dragon tribes, forces had entrenched themselves deep within the dungeon's heart. Amidst the swirling dark energy, Lin raised his glowing power and pointed toward the fortress. Summoning his soldiers, he commanded an attack. A massive energy explosion ripped forth, lightning and fire bursting into the sky. The battlefield erupted into a chaotic storm of vibrant colors and raw destruction. Shockwaves tore through the enemy ranks, leaving them utterly stunned. Lin's summoned soldiers charged fearlessly onward, cutting down enemies with swift, lethal precision. The battlefield transformed into a scene of pure devastation. Flashes of blinding light, the clash of metal, and anguished screams filled the air as the dust began to finally settle. The wreckage of broken structures and fallen foes painted a grim picture. Shadows stirred among the rubble, a haunting reminder of the battle's brutal destruction. Lin strode forward with unshakable authority, his aura radiating immense power. And one trembling enemy soldier dared to stand in his path, visibly shaken by Lin's formidable presence. Lin acknowledged the soldier's persistence with a faint, knowing smirk. Yet, unfazed by the growing resistance, a vast new army began to gather in the distance. Their numbers seemed utterly endless, and a crimson banner furiously fluttered in the wind, signaling the arrival of powerful reinforcements. The battlefield quieted, if only for a moment, before a deep, resonant voice shattered the silence. From the shadows emerged a Dragon Clan commander, exuding Buremenache. Sensing Lin's overwhelming presence, the commander raised his sword high and gave a chilling, brutal order. Kill him. The ground shook violently as Dragon Clan professionals charged forward, their weapons gleaming under the crimson glow of the sky. The commander led the charge himself, with incredible speed and brutal strength, closing the distance to Lin in mere moments. Amidst the swirling chaos, Lin remained completely unfazed. He stood firm, even as rushing winds and countless pounding feet surrounded him. With a sharp gaze, he quickly scanned the chaotic scene, truly assessing the immense challenge before him. He muttered under his breath, remarking on the sheer number of Dragon Clan soldiers, hidden deep within the dungeon. Suddenly, the enemy commander began a terrifying transformation. His glowing red eyes flared even brighter, and his body expanded grotesquely, radiating an absolutely terrifying aura. A deafening roar then erupted from him, shaking the entire battlefield and sending powerful shockwaves through their ranks. Flames spewed from his mouth in a volcanic eruption, instantly setting the ground ablaze. The commander's soldiers could only stare in awe at their leader's monstrous, unfolding power. Fully transformed, the commander then lunged forward with unparalleled speed and brutal force, leading the charge of a massive wave of soldiers. The ground trembled violently beneath their march, and their numbers appeared absolutely infinite. Despite this mounting challenge, Lin stood firm, his glowing power casting a steady, unwavering light amidst the encroaching darkness. The battlefield had become a scene of pure chaos and bloodshed, and soldiers fell one after another, their cries lost in the deafening clash of countless weapons. Blood sprayed across the ravaged ground, as the brutal intensity of the fight left absolutely no room for hesitation. Amidst the carnage, Lin stood remarkably calm and composed, holding a glowing red sphere firmly in his hand. The sphere radiated an ominous, pulsating energy, signifying his most devastating skill yet. Gulp's explosion. Lin muttered to himself, his voice cold and resolute. As long as one corpse remains, victory is mine. With a sudden surge of power, the sphere activated and a lifeless body near him detonated in a blinding explosion of crimson energy, the blast tearing violently through the battlefield. The ensuing shockwave engulfed the ranks of the Dragon Clan soldiers, obliterating everything utterly in its path. The sheer, devastating force of the attack left the enemy completely unable to resist. Their screams were drowned out by the thunderous roar of the explosion. Amidst the wreckage, the Dragon Clan's commander froze solid. His glowing red eyes were wide with disbelief. He struggled to comprehend the sheer destruction before him. His voice trembled as he stammered out, "How was this even possible?" As the fiery explosion began to fade, Lin stepped forward, shrouded in a dark, ethereal aura. The commander's panic only grew as he took in Lin's terrifying power. His mind raced with unanswered questions. Why was there no record of such abilities? Why was this power utterly unknown to his clan? Lin's calm reply sliced through the chaos. The reason no one knows about this ability is simple. Anyone who has seen it is already dead. Suddenly, a monstrous shadow emerged right behind Lin. The figure was skeletal and covered in sharp spikes, radiating a menacing, dark aura. The mere sight alone sent waves of primal fear through the remaining enemies. As the dust settled, Lin surveyed the battlefield with quiet satisfaction. His mission was complete. In the distance, a glowing portal appeared, marking the exit from the dungeon. Without a backward glance, Lin turned and walked toward it, leaving the ruined battlefield behind him. In his hand, Lin held a glowing purple crystal. He observed it calmly, already planning his next move. Once I clear both the easy and standard difficulty levels, the task will be complete, he remarked to himself. Meanwhile, in a different area, warriors watched beams of radiant light shoot into the sky, green, blue, and purple. One soldier marveled at the spectacle, exclaiming, "That's it, the final activation of Lin's core artifact." Another warrior nodded, reaffirming Lin's unmatched abilities. You can always trust the divine. General Lin is on an entirely different level. A younger soldier scratched his head and admitted, with a wry smile, "There's no use comparing ourselves to him. He's in a league of his own." As the lights faded, the dungeon began to collapse. This signaled that all three difficulty levels, easy, standard, and hell, had been cleared simultaneously. Lin spotted a blazing, fiery object plummeting nearby. "Looks like we're all wrapped up here," he commented, his tone as calm as ever. He prepared to exit the dungeon, ready to tackle his next mission. But just as Lin approached the glowing portal, a sudden burst of blue light enveloped him. A system notification flashed before his eyes. Unable to leave the dungeon, Lin froze, his calm demeanor replaced by confusion. "What's going on?" he muttered, realizing something was terribly wrong. He instinctively reached for his teleportation artifact, only to find it completely unresponsive. The artifact, which should have ensured his escape, had been rendered utterly useless. Elsewhere, the soldiers outside the dungeon began to panic. "Why can't we leave?" one of them shouted. Another exclaimed, "Something isn't right." Lin's sharp mind raced, rapidly analyzing the situation. With a grim expression, he muttered, "Someone is targeting me. They've locked the dungeon to trap me here." The realization sent a shiver down his spine, but Lin stood firm. Even in the face of this unexpected turn of events, his resolve remained unshaken. With the dungeon sealed and escape impossible, Lin knew the fight was far from over.